Hey everyone, what's up? How's it going? This is Finite MTG, and today I am here to bring you some Commander content, something new to the channel. I have here my Fumiko EDH list, and we're actually about to give this deck away to Jacob, aka Crackshot, the co-host of my podcast. But before we do that, we're going to have a little bit of a gag gift for him. And I'm really hoping that he's going to like that and be surprised both by that and by the deck itself. I've been building up to this for a long time, so I think he'll probably have a pretty funny reaction. But before we get into that, let's talk about the deck. So here we have Fumiko herself. 4 mana for a 3/2, has Bushido X, where X is the number of attacking creatures, and creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. So you might notice that this is a monocolored creature. Yes, we are playing mono red in Commander. And I think this is a good time to say I'm not the most competitive player when it comes to Commander. Unlike how I am in Limited, I'm not very cutthroat in Commander. I like to do cool, synergistic things. I'm more interested in trying to have fun than winning the game in, I don't know, spectacular fashion really quickly. So yeah, this deck in particular is a really political mono red list. Another thing about how I like to build decks, and if you differ from me on this, I actually say something about it here. If you'd like to play the best staples in the format, then absolutely go ahead. You're not going to find them in this list, but I did put a link to EDH Rec where you can pretty easily see a lot of the best mana rocks and sweepers and other Commander staples like ramp cards. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, be sure to check it out. But most of what I'm talking about is anything but those cards. So that said, let's move right along here. Like I said, this is a political list, so pretty much the name of the game is making at least one ally, hopefully two, then making one enemy, or at least the player who's farthest ahead in the game. That's someone we're going to try to target, turn the game into a sort of arch enemy, and we're going to use our political cards as further incentives to either help us or attack the opponent or not attack us, whatever it is. So starting off here, we have our cards that help our opponents, hoping that they will help us in return. So one great example of this is Pendant of Prosperity. 3 mana for an artifact that enters the battlefield under an opponent's control. You get to choose that opponent, of course. And then for 2 mana and tap it, they get to Growth Spiral, the player you give it to, and you get to Growth Spiral, which is pretty great. So yeah, you're each drawing a card and then putting a land untapped, potentially, from your hand onto the battlefield, if you have a land there. So pretty nice card, really good gift to give someone, provided that they activate it pretty regularly. Again, we're in mono red, so we don't have access to the best ramp other than mana rocks. And a lot of the mana rocks that I'm playing are pretty political in nature, like I mentioned down here. So we have something like Victory Chimes, which is, 3 mana to add 1 mana per turn. Not the most efficient or the best, but you do get to help every player, potentially. Or you can, just help yourself thanks to cards with instant speed and activated abilities. But still, I think in this deck, it's mostly going to be a nice political tool, and that'll set it apart from more streamlined mana rocks like a Worn Power Stone. You might see at 3 mana. So then we know now how we're going to put certain people on our side by helping them out. Now we want to figure out how to turn other players against the person who's ahead. So one great way of doing that in this so-and-so looks pretty scary category is Curse of Opulence. So for 1 mana, this is another nice ramp piece, like that first card I showed. You enchant a player, and then whenever someone attacks that player, they get to make a gold token. And in addition to an opponent attacking that player, you get the gold token as well. So benefits you more than everyone else. Definitely puts a target on someone's back, though. Ramping is pretty valuable, and yeah, it's just a nice card. So, moving on to the next category, what happens if you're in the lead? Well, you want to discourage people from attacking you. So, attacking me, that's so passé. That's the category we're going to use for that. One of the most synergistic cards we have to do that is Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. 5 mana for a 5/4 that says whenever an opponent attacks you, you get to make a 3/3 unless they pay 3. And so with Fumiko, right, you're forcing everyone to attack. So now you're basically saying, okay, these are your options. You can attack me, which means either I get a 3/3 for each of your attackers, or you start paying 3 to prevent me from getting those 3/3s, or you attack my opponents. And that's pretty much what we want, right? That's definitely the best option there, and I think a lot of the time it's going to be pretty effective. So now moving on here, we have a few staples in the deck that I couldn't really fit into other categories. So like Court of Ire would be a nice one. We do want some cards with the Monarch because that plays a nice political game, but also something like Skyline Despot is just going to be a nice way of closing out the game, just making extra 5/5s with flying, drawing extra cards. We do want to win the game eventually after playing our political trickery nonsense, so Skyline Despot's a nice way of doing that. But before we get to that point, we have some sweepers, and a lot of sweepers in Commander are staples, cards like Blasphemous Act, and I'm not playing very many of those here. So one of the sweepers we're playing, and just onboard threats in general in this armed and dangerous category, is Oblivion Stone. So Oblivion Stone, you get to start putting fate counters on your permanents, but also your opponent's permanents if that's something you're interested in. Maybe they'll be a little nicer to you just because you gave them a fate counter. Doesn't mean you're going to even crack the Oblivion Stone, but you never know. And another nice thing about this is because you have that threat of activation of that Wrath ability, you do get to negotiate a little bit. You say, hey, if you're attacking me, then this Oblivion Stone's getting popped, and all your non-land ramp is going to be blown up, and then suddenly, you know, a lot less appealing to attack you. Moving on from there, we have this wacky politics section, kind of like Staples, doesn't really fit into other categories very easily. One of my pet cards from here is Liar's Pendulum. You get to play a really fun game where an opponent or multiple opponents start guessing whether a card's in your hand, and if they're wrong, you draw a card. But it gets a little more interesting because you can try to team up with someone and then just simply tell them the truth. And then if you tell them, okay, a mountain is in my hand, you know, please guess that it's not, you never know whether they're going to betray you. So I think the mind games you can play with this are pretty fun and interesting. And so the last main category that I want to talk about here is my heads I win, tails you lose category. So Diao-chan, who was originally the commander for this deck before I realized that Fumiko from Jacob's Signature Spellbook was actually a much better fit and much more exciting. Yeah, so Diao-chan, pretty much you tap it to destroy something that you want to, and then any opponent, not just the opponent whose thing you targeted, gets to destroy something that they would like to blow up. So it could be the Diao-chan, which is not very good, right? 4 mana, you tap it, and then it just dies. I mean, maybe in limited it would be fine, but here we're trying to get rid of that drawback, and we do that by giving it indestructible. So if it gets targeted, it just lives. Giving it protection from red, so it can't be targeted by this ability. And giving it Shroud. And giving it Shroud is important as opposed to Hexproof, because even though the opponent's the one making the choice, you're the controller of the ability. So Hexproof doesn't actually work. Shroud is necessary here. And we have one of Jacob's pet cards here too in Mog Assassin. Basically a jankier form of Diao-chan, but still a really nice card, and cool that we get to take a card that seems so lackluster and unexciting and put it into this sweet package of cards. So yeah, other than that, we basically have lands, and that's it. Lands are different from spells in that with spells, I don't really want to be playing the staples that are going to show up in every single other deck. But here, I don't really care whether a land is a staple or not. I don't think that defines the deck as much. So we're playing a lot of staples here, and also some nice political cards like Forbidden Orchard. From turn 1, you can start giving opponents 1/1 spirits without flying. Keep that in mind. Not playing Snow-Covered Mountains, but hey, you know, now that Keldheim's coming out, maybe that'll be a nice upgrade. So yeah, that is it for my deck tech. Now we're going to jump onto Magic Online, start some trades with Crackshot, including that prank one. We'll see how that goes. I can't wait to do it. And yeah, we'll see you at the end. All right. Jacob, thank you for having the patience to join me. We've had some technical difficulties and it's late over there, but I really appreciate you making an effort.
Well, I appreciate you waiting because the technical difficulties were on my end. So,
Yeah, I guess, but I feel like if we're keeping score, more of them are definitely on mine.
all right.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to start a trade with you here. Um, and this might be a little overwhelming. I think it's a pretty generous gift. Uh, but yeah, I mean, well, it's
Why?
you're the one who's really the judge, so we'll see what you think.
Should I reject?
Wouldn't be the worst idea. Oh, here we go.
Ooh, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, so sounds like I possibly got the wrong trade binder in there, so maybe I'll try again.
Well, the best presents are impossible to regift, right?
That's very true. So if you want to submit this one, I'll start the real one with you in a second. No, okay, we're just submitting nothing.
I didn't even know that worked.
Yeah, I didn't think it would. All right, now really have to cross my fingers and hope that the real one is not going to crash the computer.
Oh,
Oh,
no reject. Yeah, no
I
problem.
definitely deserved that, but I didn't think it was going to happen. All right, so now that I think you can see what I actually intend you to see, let me just start by saying I've already said this before, but you're one of the nicest people I've ever run into in like the Magic Twitch community and just the Magic community in general.
Oh,
You're
thank
like
you.
very generous, like constantly like gifting people subs and things like that. And so I was thinking about something special I could do, and how Fumiko the Lowblood was one of the cards from your signature spellbook. So I actually built
Yes.
an entire commander deck around Fumiko. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, so that's what you're looking at right now. Um, and I'm hoping that in the Discord we can start occasional games of multiplayer Commander. Hopefully that won't be too much of a
Thank you.
hassle on Magic Online. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like optimized. I haven't tested this, but I'm really hoping I don't know, you enjoy it. I think there are some cool things going on. Anyway, yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. I can't wait. Ooh, oh, there was a mock assassin in there. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, so Mog Assassin's in there. So's Diao-chan, and we have combos with Shroud, Indestructible, and Protection from Red. Um,
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Will we record this?
yeah. I
The
mean,
games? I would
uh,
love that.
this is recording the games. I don't know if people are gonna want that, so I guess they'll have to tell me in the comments or something. But um, that's something I would consider doing for sure.
Oh, this is so nice. A lot of alternate arts that are just beautiful.
Yeah, so one of the things that I was excited about with this deck is I did a deck tech just before recording this, so um, I'm hoping that other people, whether or not they want to watch the Commander like gameplay videos, are going to enjoy watching me just spending a lot of time thinking about like, okay, how can I make Fumiko work as like this multiplayer Commander card?
That's really amazing. I did have a lot of fun playing Commander with friends in real life, and I can't wait to do it online with friends from our Discord.
Yeah,
It's great.
I'm hoping it'll be a little more manageable than Commander Legends and maybe a little lower key since we'll know everyone. Um,
Yeah, it will be amazing. I'm definitely in, but maybe I should wait for you to upload the deck tag so I know what to actually do with this.
there's also a link to a tapped out thing that I'll be putting in this video too. Okay, there we go. Looks like you got everything there. Um,
Yeah, I screenshotted it here first, and I
nice.
will build it immediately.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear you're excited. I also tried to pick out some sweet foil Kamigawa mountains that I thought you would like. Um,
Yeah,
anyway,
thank you very much. Like, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. I can't even appreciate it fully yet because I haven't. Some of the cards I will have to read first, and yeah.
I mean, I tried to
Humble
trade
Defector
you.
is also, by the way,
What'd you
one of
say?
the Humble Defector is also one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, that's a sweet one. I was going to
Yeah.
say, I mean, you're saying like you can't appreciate it fully, but I tried to trade you a white elephant, so so I don't really think that there's that much to appreciate with that bit. Um, but yeah, I'm I'm glad you're excited. I hope this was a at least I hope it was surprising, if nothing else.
It was very surprising, and I really want to play it. So yeah,
Awesome.
if your plan was to get me hooked on Commander, I guess I guess you accomplished that.
Nice. All right, trade confirmed. I hope your Magic Online hasn't crashed. It says you're still online over here.
No, it hasn't. It really just seems to be the starting up that's the big problem.
Got it.
So
Okay.
yeah, I will build the deck right now and read the cards.
I'll send you the tapped out link in the meantime as well. But yeah, thank you. I don't know, for being my friend, for starting the podcast
Oh,
with me,
so
gifting
sweet.
a million subs. Yeah, I mean, all right.
Yeah, I still can't almost can't get how well that all worked out.
It's been pretty great.
Just
Yeah.
naturally worked. It's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that'll wrap up this video then. Yeah. And I'll say good night as well because I'm sure it's quite late over there.
Yeah, well, it's 12:30, but that's okay. Um, if you like this, then please come to the Discord. I might want to play against you with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone watching this, if you want to see what this deck can really do, make sure to hop in the Discord and challenge us to a game.